You're watching the RebZone Sports Show on Fox 5.
Right now in the RebZone, senior night for UNLV as the Rebels go for 3 straight.
Stick together. Fight for each other. Keep that chip on your damn shoulder.
But BYU denies the perfect night. We're breaking the game down with head coach Tony Sanchez. Plus, a preview of this week's game against New Mexico. A feature on the always entertaining Kyle Saxelid. And the Runnin Rebels get the season revved up. The RebZone, delivering roses, hugs, and UNLV sports right now.
This is the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, presented by RC Willey. Your home, your way.
Good evening. Welcome inside the RebZone. Kevin Bolinger alongside UNLV head football coach Tony Sanchez, coming off a Friday night loss where UNLV didn't necessarily play particularly bad, but came up empty-handed.
Yeah, you know, a little frustrating when you go back and watch a film. We had those 2 drives early in the first quarter, and you know, one of them you got, you know, 1st and 10 on the 22. We end up taking a sack, missing a field goal, and then we get down there and we have a 1st and 10 on the 17 going in, and we end up throwing a pick in the end zone, and those things really came back to bite us, you know. And then, you know, our defense played well early, first quarter football, and then after that they had a spell where about 5 series in a row we just didn't play real well. So we had plenty of opportunities and just fell a little short.
Well, let's show you the highlights, exactly what happened, beginning with the first half where there were 30 minutes of opportunities and there were some opportunities lost.
Understand this, as energetic as we are, fired up, there's going to be some good moments and there's going to be some tough moments. We have to stay the course.
You guys ready? Let's go ahead.
Stick together. Fight for each other. Keep that chip on your damn shoulder.
Senior night at Sam Boyd Stadium as the Rebels saluted the players on their final home game at UNLV. The Rebels had the ball first and moved it down the field. Johnny Stanton to Darren Woods Jr., who drags BYU defenders into Cougar territory. Then Stanton uses his feet as he lumbers for 17 yards down to the 22. On 3rd and 10 at the 22, Stanton with no time, and he's sacked by Corbin Kafusi for a loss of 9. That would make it a 48-yard field goal attempt, and Evan Pantel's is short and wide left. UNLV comes up empty. On BYU's first possession, 3rd and 6 from their own 45. But Nick Dadashian is there for the sack, and that would force a punt. The Rebs would get some yards as Stanton finds Devontae Boyd for 16, but they could move it no further. The defense would force a 3 and out, and Stanton got things rolling again. Deep downfield to Brandon Presley. That's good for 37 yards into BYU territory at the 47. On 4th and 2 at the 35, the Rebels go for it, and Stanton keeps it himself to move the chains. As the drive continues, 3rd and 3 at the 25. Stanton gets hit, and the ball pops up in the air, but Cody Scherf is there to grab it for the UNLV first down. Rebels now in the red zone, 3rd and 7 at the 14. Stanton tries to force one into the end zone, and it's picked off by Zane Anderson. Another missed opportunity, and we remain scoreless early in the second. BYU took over at the 20 and moved it quickly. Out of the Wildcat, Austin Kafensis takes the direct snap. He goes for 20 yards. Then freshman quarterback Joe Critchlow slings it over to Micah Simon for 30 more down to the UNLV 26. It was 3rd and 4 at the 20. Critchlow hits Aliva Hifo. They call it a touchdown at first, but replay said he was down at the 1.5. On the next play, Braden El Bakri finishes the drive with the score. BYU strikes first, leading 7-0. UNLV started their next drive at their 21. Lexington Thomas takes the rock. He heads right and bobs and weaves his way down for 35 yards to the BYU 32. Then it's Lex again, breaking tackles for 9 more to the 19. Stanton flips it out to Lightning, and he bolts down the sideline for 16 yards down to the 1. 3rd and goal inside the 1. Thomas goes off left tackle behind big Kyle Saxelid, and he stretches for the touchdown. UNLV had tied it up at 7 with 4:25 left in the half. BYU moved quickly into the red zone. The handoff to Squally Canada, and Jason Fowl makes the tackle. Pops knocking it loose. The Rebels think they have a fumble, but the replay official said that Canada was down before the ball came loose, and that was huge because on the next play, Critchlow hit Hefo for the 11-yard touchdown. BYU went into the locker room with a 14-7 lead over the Rebels.
So we talked at the top show a little bit about coming up short on those possessions.
Yeah.
There were 2 of the first 3 Rebel possessions. If you get points there, even just a field goal, 2 field goals, it's a totally different game. It changes everything throughout the rest of the 4 quarters.
Well, it really does. In those situations, those are points before they get points. So it changes a little bit. The atmosphere there, the way they call plays, and the thing about it, those were kind of self-inflicted deals. Can't take the sack on 3rd down. You got to know you have points on the board, and then again down there on the 3rd and 7, you don't have to force it. If nothing's there, you throw it away. It's early in the game, kick the field goal. So just learning things, and we had opportunities. We tied it back up, and got to do a better job of not giving up that long drive right before the half, and then coming out, which we'll talk about. One of those 2, you got to get a stop before the half or at the second half.
UNLV, the defense struggled with the Wildcat, and you did not see that a lot this season come in. What is it about that just puts defenses off balance?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's kind of an interesting deal. They got a big, strong offensive line, and they've thrown the ball at like 78%, probably a little too much this year. And because of all the injuries they've had at quarterback, they really focused on running the football, and it was tough. That offensive line was pretty good. They got after us. As the game went on, you saw our guys wear down a little bit going against that big offensive front.
Well, let's go to the second half now where both teams dug in for a fight.
BYU had the ball to start the second half, and it was trouble from the first play from scrimmage. Canada has a huge hole, and he gets north of the border for a huge gain, racing 54 yards all the way to the UNLV 14. 2 plays later, he gets into the end zone from 2 yards out, and BYU extended the lead to 21-7. UNLV went 3 and out in its first possession, but when BYU got the ball back, Rhett Allman misses a 44-yard field goal, giving the Rebels the ball at the 27. Stanton with the quick hitter to Woods, and he rolls 35 yards to the BYU 38. Later in the drive, Stanton to Presley, who makes a great grab, backing up for the touchdown. The Rebels were back within a touchdown at 21-14. The defense needed a stop, but Squally Canada started running squirrely all over the field, racking up yards and moving the Cougars into scoring position. Off the Wildcat again, Sanchez goes untouched into the end zone from 11 yards out. BYU got the score right back, and they go up 28-14 as we headed into the 4th quarter. The Rebels made a move to get back in it. 4th and 11 at the BYU 40. Stanton down the left sideline to Presley, who hauls it in for the first at the 13. Next play, senior to senior, as Stanton hits Boyd in the end zone for the touchdown. We had ourselves a game, 28-21 BYU with 10:46 left. UNLV needed a stop or a turnover, and it looked like they would get it. Critchlow's pass in and out of the hands of Dalton Baker. No INT. The drive continued, and BYU kicked a field goal to make it a 2-score game. The Rebels just couldn't get anything else going after that. A frustrating night comes to an end as BYU snaps UNLV's 2-game winning streak, 31-21.
So Squally Canada only had 333 yards coming into this game for the season, goes for 213, but it goes back to that offensive line issue. They really won the battle of the trenches, which we knew was going to be the key to the game.
No doubt. I mean, they committed to the run more in this game than they had probably all year. Again, they're throwing the ball 78% of the time, and they did a good job of just kind of, being methodical about it and picking up yards and, keeping their defense off the field. So 3 times in the game we made it a 7-point game. We got to get a stop and give ourselves an opportunity. You see at the end there, you got a chance for a turnover. You got to take advantage of it early in the game when you get the ball down in those areas. You got to be able to convert those at least to field goals. So we had plenty of opportunities. These are, we're growing, we're getting better at things. We just got to keep taking advantage of the opportunities we get so we can close games out.
The backbreaker really in that 4th quarter, you mentioned the missed interception in terms of being in position, even though you still would have had to go on 95 yards to do that, but it's still a 1-score game at that point. Give your team a chance to get in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been moving the ball well on in the second half, and I think we ended up with more total yards in the game. You need more total points though to win the game. But we didn't have problems moving the ball throughout the night. They were stingy against the run. You know, Lexington had his yards, but they were all hard yards. But we were able to throw the ball. We took advantage of a lot of the matchups in the back end, and getting one more opportunity with a 7-point game would have been nice to see.
We're going to take our first break right here and start looking ahead, because up next we're previewing this week's game at New Mexico, and we also get to know Rebel offensive lineman Kyle Saxelid, what he's done at UNLV, what he plans to do in the future, and his love affair with In-N-Out Burger. The RebZone, going animal style. We're doing it in 2 minutes. Stick and stay.
You're watching the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, presented by RC Willey. Your home, your way.
The Rebels are road warriors the rest of the season, beginning Friday night at New Mexico.
New Mexico comes into this game slumping, having not won since October 1st. The Lobos have turned the ball over a lot this season, ranking near the bottom nationally in that category. But the option offense has the ability to drive defenses crazy. They've racked up an average of 240 yards on the ground this season.
That is part of why we do what we do. I think New Mexico will perennially always be a place that you have to do a little more with less, maybe a little different than others, and certainly short preparation time to get ready to play our offense is one of the key components of why we do it.
One benefit UNLV will have is that they're not that far removed from playing Air Force, a team that runs a similar offense, and a game where the Rebel defense was solid in the first 30 minutes. Defensively, the Lobos have given up a lot of points in recent weeks, in part due to teams having a short field after the turnovers. One often overlooked weapon New Mexico has is its punter. Corey Bjorquez is in the top 5 in the nation and has the ability to flip the field. The last time the Rebels visited Albuquerque was 2013, a wild 56-42 UNLV win that snapped the Rebels' 23-game road losing streak and propelled them to a bowl berth. Rebel fans would not object to history repeating itself.
All right, biggest concern coming into this game for the Rebels?
I don't know if there's a ton of concerns. We just got to go out and play well in all 3 phases. I think we got to take advantage of being able to throw the ball down the football field again, and running the ball a little better than we did. I think we'll have the opportunity to do that. And defensively, again, anytime you play option, it's assignment football. We've got to be. We did a heck of a job in the first half against Air Force. We saw the troubles we had in the second half. We got to put 2 halves together defending that. You don't necessarily have to shut them out, slow them down, create some turnovers, and don't let them have any freebies.
They have a shorter week because they played Saturday. You guys have a little bit of time to kind of get things lined up, and that helps get some guys rested and ready to go, be fresh.
It does. With some of the injuries and bang-ups, hopefully Kalili gets back this week. We'll find out about Bailey Lolangi, but anytime you get extra days off, to kind of, have some of those guys heal up, that's a good thing. And just at the end of the year, you're a little bit tired, so it's good to get some rest, and, hopefully that'll benefit us.
It's not often that we get a chance to talk about offensive linemen and put them in the spotlight, but it would be a travesty out there if fans didn't get a chance to meet senior Kyle Saxelid, one of our favorite Rebels who always keeps us laughing. We chatted about 3 of his favorite things: football, future, and food.
He's a talented football player who was smart and incredibly funny. You may not pay close attention to him during games, but senior Kyle Saxelid is a critical part to making the offense work every play. The left tackle is part of the Orcas, the nickname of the offensive line that doesn't get enough credit for opening rushing lanes or keeping quarterback Armani Rogers upright, and that's okay with Saxelid.
We make things happen down in there. The run game, we open holes up for those magnificent 60-yard touchdowns. We take pride in that. We don't need to be praised by all the outside or anything. We know that when we do a good job, we do a good job, and we hold ourselves accountable when we don't.
This is not a group of big oafy linemen. In fact, it's a very articulate and bright bunch.
I would say that we're probably one of the smartest position groups on the football team. Those quarterback smart guys right there, But, we have a lot on our plate. We got to know a lot of plays. We got to know the assignment for 5 different positions all in the same play I will say it, we are probably one of the smartest positions on the team.
Saxelid is a perfect example. He's already received his bachelor's degree in business management and is working on his master's right now. The goal is to end up with multiple master's degrees and ultimately own a small business or two. At 6'7" and nearly 300 pounds, his size is imposing, but that's taken a lot of work. Saxelid has added about 50 pounds of muscle to his frame.
I wasn't the strongest person coming in here. I was a very big-time developmental kid. Everybody knew that, and I think I finally reached the point, it only took like 4.5 years, I finally reached the point where I'm able to play productively.
That growth came with a lot of eating, one of Saxelid's favorite pastimes.
I still eat a lot of food, and the key difference now is instead of just stuffing my face with whatever I see, it's that I'm eating good food.
Do you ever sneak out for a double-double
Yes.
at In-N-Out?
Yes, I do. You're allowed to sneak out.
I should have made that double-double comment plural, because when the big man is on a cheat day, he goes for it.
3 double-doubles, 3 fries, vanilla shake, and a soda. That's what you got.
Have you ever done like a 4x4 or anything like that?
Oh yeah, but here's the thing. You get more calories from going to 2 double doubles than a 4x4 because you get all the extra, you get the extra buns, you get the extra toppings and everything. 4x4, you just get 4 patties. I'll get 4 patties with 2 double doubles, but I'll end up getting more calories. You got to play the system.
Saxelid says he isn't a huge trash talker in the trenches, but that doesn't mean he doesn't talk to the opponent.
I have conversations with him sometimes, and most of the time it's about food.
Like one game at Colorado State when he confronted a Ram defensive lineman.
Dude, what's that smell? And I come up to him, and he looks at me and goes, those are the funnel cakes. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, dude.
He keeps it light, but when it's time to play, Saxelid delivers, which has him poised for a chance to play at the next level.
NFL is a definite possibility. I've been told by multiple people it's definitely a possibility, and if that possibility brings itself forward, then you can't pass that up, and that's something I will definitely shoot for. In the meantime, like I've said before, I'm focused on the now, and the most important thing right now is just next up is food, class, practice tomorrow, game this Saturday.
Kyle Saxelid came to UNLV as a tall, goofy kid from Elk Grove, California, with a love for video games and football. He'll leave a well-rounded man with 2 degrees, a blueprint for success, and extreme gratitude for his time in Las Vegas as a Rebel.
It's been an amazing experience. I feel like I've definitely matured. I've made some lifelong friends. I've met some amazing people. I've done some amazing things, I think. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Great guy. We know he's going to have a lot of success in life. Straight ahead, we're going to talk some hoops here. The Runnin Rebels opening the regular season last night against Florida A&M. We have highlights and post-game reaction on the backside of the break.
You're watching the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, presented by RC Willey. Your home, your way.
The Runnin Rebels tipped off their season Saturday night against Florida A&M, and it's a season with a lot of new faces and a lot of promise.
Brandon McCoy making his much-anticipated collegiate debut, and he impressed quickly. Shakir Houston with the sweep feed inside to McCoy for the slam and the slap. Then Anthony Smith with the steal. He heads the other way and throws it down. UNLV was rolling early. Jordy Johnson with the steal. The Rebs run, and watch Johnson's over-the-shoulder pass to Houston. He gets the hoop in the harm. Then just before the half, JoJo Maury beats the buzzer with the 3. The Rebels led 56-27 at the break. The second half started with a bang. Houston with the steal. He takes it the other way for the lay-in. The highlight reel complete as Johnson goes alley-oop over to McCoy. McCoy ended up with 25 points and 18 rebounds. Houston had 19 and 10. Johnson with 10 points and 10 assists. And Mooring with 21 points as UNLV gets things off to a solid start with a 108-66 win over Florida A&M.
We need to show our new signature of who this team will be. And I thought that we made some nice strokes in the initial letters tonight.
I'm not even gonna lie, I was a little nervous. That's why I missed that layup. But my teammates kept telling me to play stronger and just, keep doing what I'm doing. And I just thank my teammates for, believing in me and just playing hard for them.
Games on Wednesday and Friday night this week, Thomas and Mack. We're back with the plays of the week right after this.
You're watching the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, presented by RC Willie. Your home, your way.
All right, so here we go. 2 games left, 2 wins. You get to bowl eligibility. It all starts Friday night.
Yeah, big deal. I mean, we got a great opportunity going up to New Mexico, so we got to go out, play great, and then, we get that done. It creates another big opportunity, in the Cannon game. So, we got to make sure our guys are focused up and play well this week.
I know that you want to go 1 week at a time, but what is bowl eligibility? Only the second time the Rebels will have done that in 17 years. What does that mean in terms of getting out in the recruiting trail and helping to keep turning this program around?
Well, it's huge. Each year we've gotten better, and obviously we want to get a whole lot better fast, but we've gotten better every year. A win would, be another year of getting better in the win column. We've gotten better in a lot of places off the field. We want to start getting better on the field. That would prove that. Getting to a bowl game would be huge. We've only been to, I believe, 4 in 50 years. So all these things are milestones and markers, and to do it, we're gonna have to win on the road, and we got an opportunity to, to have a winning record on the road, get to 3 wins with another one to go, at Reno, and proving that we can go on the road and be successful. So we're excited about the opportunity. We just got to stay focused and go win.
All right, good luck, Coach. That's the 6:30 kickoff Friday night on ESPN2. Thanks for joining us inside the Reb Zone. We're gonna leave you with the Rebel plays of the week. Good night.
Again. Can't shake them, can't make them ever fade, ever end. Am I good enough? Do I measure up? Feels like a war I can't win. I wanna be fearless, no holding back, no backing down. Fearless, because I believe you're with me now. Bring on the unknown, lead me and I'll go. Come set me free. God, I wanna be fearless. I want to be fearless. I want to be. These mountains, these giants will fall at a single word. In your name, in your strength, I'm more than a conqueror. I wasn't given
The Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show was presented by RC Willie. Your home,